Everywhere I go in the world, and I'm sure you turn on the radio, you hear us. We have captivated the world because we figured out how to create incredible beauty. And that is the apex of the human condition. That's what I believe. It's
you do
the
this
highest human achievement.
and you do this, and you do this through the color blue.
Yes.
What that mean? The hell?
Well, because we're all, the blues. No. Well, because you can tell, part of it is the blues, because it's a blues story.
Right.
A blues sensibility.
Right.
I want to pick up what both Albert Murray and Mary Baraka did with Sense of Blues people, and also kind of correct them both.
Right.
I don't think they're either got it exactly right. They both were a little too invested in their political arguments and less in the account
You're
of
still
what the blues
beefing
does.
with Murray, I see.
I'm always beefing with Murray.
Yeah.
But I'm beefing with Murray because I adore him. I'm beefing
right.
with Baraka in a little bit different way.
Exactly.
But it's the work of joy. It's a work of joy that doesn't deny. It's not suffering is almost not the right word. I think it's humiliation and degradation. It's more than suffering.
Right.
Because it's the diminishment that just makes you, as to borrow your language, want to eat your entrails.
Right.
That when you create, which is different than just suffering, because it's when you turn that around, you have done something marvelous.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
See, this is the thing for me. I'm neither a pessimist nor an optimist.
Thank goodness.
I'm a meliorist.
Oh, say that again.
I'm not a pessimist. I'm neither a pessimist or an optimist. I'm a meliorist. So I don't believe, that the world is, just hell. And I don't believe in, this is, the best of all possible worlds. I believe it is all up to what we do. It's the choices we make while we're here. This is what makes my current moment so challenging.
Say more.
Because it's in our hands. So going back to our fears, right? So when you're trying to write on the page, you're trying to give an account. For me, I'm always giving an account. The arc of the work is a kind of presentist moment. How does this story, right? How does this historical account prophesy a present?
Yeah.
Right? How does this history give me an account of the way in which I'm moving about in the world? How do I fund the experiences in such a way so that we can make intelligent choices now, in this moment, right? How do I give us resources to imagine differently this relationship to tradition as we're thinking, about future possibility, right? So this is what I'm trying to do in the work, at least on the page. And so here I am. Does it matter? So if I'm not a pessimist, which saying that it's all settled, if I'm not an optimist, saying that it's all the arc of the universe bends toward,
it's really
up to us.
Right. Whether it matters is a really big question.
Becomes a fundamental question.
Yeah.
You see, so because if it has to always matter for me to get up. It has to always matter for me not to choose to drown myself in drink.
Yeah.
It has to always matter so that I don't get lost in selfish pursuits.
Yeah.
Right. And so but I think the question has to always be asked, though. It has to always be asked. And here I'm kind of backtracking a little bit in the sense that if you don't ask the question whether or not it matters, then you open yourself up to hubris.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Then you think you got the answer. You think you know it. You can be susceptible to those ideological, guarantees, as it were. But I'm conflating something here. But I think, on the one hand, it's a really deep existential dread.
Yeah.
Given the nature of the moment.
So can I ask you?
Sure.
Does the mattering though mean, when you say you're an ameliorationist, which I love?
Right.
Does it matter? Does the question, does it matter? Is that a forward-looking question, or can it be a living in the along question?
Ooh, Gwendolyn Brooks, living in the along. I think it's both. Both hands, right? Because for me as a pragmatist, the past, the present, and the future are always kind of in the moment, right? They're both, they're all three there, right? So the choices made in the going along, right? The close to the groundwork that's being done, right, always has implications for the future that we may inhabit, that we might inhabit, right? The future as we imagine it serves as regulative ideals for the kinds of choices we make, right? So if I don't have a robust understanding of how we might live together, then what are the regulative ideals that guide my choices in the current
to get right? Yeah, that's right.
To get to that,
yeah.
right? So the future is always implicated in the going along. Oh, we gonna make do. Well, what we making do for? We're not making do just to make do. We're making do for the day when we're gonna have meat in this pot.
Right. Right.
But that's why the pinto beans taste so good without it.
Oh, it's just a little.
Yeah, a little bit, So you see what I mean? So it's in the going along. So I think it's both and, they're always together for me. That's why I'm so obsessed with history, and I'm so obsessed with history's relevance to our current moment, because it informs and shapes how I imagine the future.
So I want to throw in then the pessimist. Maybe it's not just pessimist. Yeah, it's also leftist, right? Who will say, well, in various ways, but for the circumstance of a small group of the Black bourgeois, things have not changed for Black folks. And we'll say, and that becomes the indictment, right?
Right.
And you don't understand that because of the position that you occupy. But by and large, you look at how many, and then the statistics about incarceration, about poverty, about life expectancy, all those sorts of things. And so the argument comes down to all of these efforts in the past have been treading water. So I don't actually agree with that.
I was about to say
at all. And I think it'd be very hard to come, and it'd be very hard to come from where we come from and agree with that.
Yeah.
Frankly. But people say that. And I'm just wondering how you engage that question beyond. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What is underneath it?
Well, empirically it's wrong.
Sure.
Right? The circumstances of my great-grandfather are not the circumstances of my cousin.
Right.
Even though my cousin has done time in Parchment.
Sure.
They're just not the same. It's just not the same material circumstances, right? That doesn't mean that one is better than the other.
It's different.
It's just different, right? And that's, I think, it's really important to understand. One could be catching hell. And hell is the noun that allows us, or the adjective that allows us to describe the experience across time. But that doesn't mean the hell is the same.
Same hell, right?
It's the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think this gets us to the historical or historicist sensibility that we have, right? Right? What the nature of Black suffering in the context of slavery is not the nature of Black suffering in the context of Jim Crow.
Absolutely not.
They're not the same.
Yes.
They're just not the same.